And
You're going to say no.
he loves that light. Looking at me. All right, cool. Let's jump back right into where we left off yesterday. And I tried to leave this up because that was kind of like the main focus yesterday. Yeah, I know we looked at like x to the 0, and we looked at power over root. We're not even going to do any of that stuff today. I only want to work on these couple ideas right here. Okay? If we've got fractions, or if we've got negative exponents, and then eventually both at the same time. Fractions that have negative exponents in them. All right? So take out what you had yesterday. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
That was on my desk.
I'm working out.
Now, nothing you have to submit for me today. That don't feel like this has to be organized perfect. It can kind of be in whatever order and style that you like. You can, but we're done writing properties. So like that section notes is done. Now we're just going to try to get better. Okay. And what I want to try to build off first is just focusing on this top part right here. That as nice as that shortcut is, that right over there. As nice as that shortcut is, just be able to subtract when we divide, sometimes it gives us the issue with the negative exponents, and I want to skip over that as often as possible. I don't want to have negative exponents in my problem ever. If they give me a negative exponent, fine, I'll deal with it. But if I can avoid it, I'm going to do that. And the best way is to do these two things. Okay? Ask yourself those two questions. Right? This kind of setup, where do I have more and how many more, got us to the answer right away. And whether it's just x's or it's x's and y's or a's, b's, and c's or whatever it is, just go one letter at a time. And hey, might as well do alphabetical order if it comes to it, right? And so what I want to try to do today is kind of give you some together. We'll work on a couple together. I'll give you some to try on your own. I'm just looking back at a picture from 6th period, looking at somebody's notes. I give you the exact same problems. We all have the same stuff going forward. Okay, so I'm going to work over here on this board, but I'm going to leave that up the whole class. We can always refer back to it in case we need it. But the thing that I think would be best for you to do right now is, as I put up problems, copy them down with me. We'll work through them together. Then I'll give you like a handful or two to try. Work on those on your own. Top half will be done. We'll move down to the bottom half, deal with the negatives, do the same thing, and it'll be done. Okay. Today actually went really quick, and we get a lot of good practice in. So I hope this works out. I hope you feel like you're getting something good out of today, and I'm building off what we did yesterday. So these are just going to be examples. Okay, we're just going to do some practice. Okay, starting with, might as well, problem number 1. Sure. You just have to sharpen it. I would use the beige colored one next to that water bottle. What's up?
The governor
Governor of Colorado? I did not hear that. Take away or remove the mandate? Okay. Find that surprising. I don't think it's going to happen. So, not in schools, that's for sure. We're so close. Now is not the time to get lax with it. Like, we're this close to being done with this thing.
You should have just stayed with the same like schedule, like Cohort A and Cohort B till like the end of the year, and then next year start like a whole.
I get why you think that. Safety for sure, and keeping people safer. But I see the other side too. You know, it's like it's so nice to have everybody back that wants to be back. I think the reason why I think they were okay with making the jump is because they knew that 20% of the school is still staying home. And they had the choice to do that, right? Which I thought was nice. So yeah, I know, it's crazy. But we're close, man. We're getting
I
there.
feel like the link switch up, like we haven't had the same schedule since I was a freshman.
Ever, right? And I think the seniors the same thing, right? You guys have had a different like schedule every year you guys have been here. This is my 6th year here. I've had 5 different schedules. It's crazy. But good thing you guys are adaptable. And you guys don't say it like you guys just roll with it, man. I have to give you so much credit. You guys just roll with whatever gets thrown at you. Better than like most generations at this point. So kudos to you guys. You guys are doing awesome. I know it might not feel like that sometimes. I know it might feel tough, but it's all good. You guys are doing awesome. All right, let's do this. A to the 4th over a to the 9th. And remember the goal. I just want one variable, one exponent. If it's part of a fraction, fine. If it's not, great. But if we do have fractions from the beginning, the thing that I think is just so easy for me to figure out where stuff is supposed to end up is to ask those 2 questions. So take a look at what we got. Where do you have more A's, top or bottom? Bottom. All right, so that's where it's going to end up. So I might as well give myself a space, like a fraction, just put that in the bottom. How many A's do we have? How many more? 5 of them, right? Because you had 4 up here, you had 9 down here. I had 5 more on the bottom than I did up top. What do we leave behind on top? Because like there's nothing there yet. You can't put an A there because the whole point was to just have 1 A in the whole problem. Why? You're absolutely right. There's got to be a 1 up here. But where is that 1 coming from? Anybody know?
Or the A.
That one right there. In fact, like there's 1 down here too, and that's cool. Obviously, we don't need that one. That one's gone. But those coefficients, they just kind of travel along with you, and they don't go anywhere. Because these are properties of exponents. So we're only going to use shortcuts for exponents. Apologize for me keep going back and forth. I just want to make sure I give you guys the same problem. All right, so speaking of numbers out in front, let's do one. 3x to the 4th over x to the 8th. Now, we're not solving anything. There's no equal sign. We're not going to get like x equals 5 at the end. We're just simplifying. We want to make things as simple as we possibly can. And a good way to deal with these, where do you have more? How many? Top or bottom? 4 on top, 8 on bottom. I got more on the bottom. I got 4 more on bottom. Right? So what's left at the top? Yeah. Beautiful. Done. That's it. Box it up. Circle it. Let me know you're done. At most, these things will take 2 steps. You're going to see by the time we get to the end, we start doing some crazy stuff. You might take 2 steps just to be safe. But really, you can do almost all of these in just 1 shot. No more page-and-a-half systems of equations, for one question. So I kind of like this, which is nice. All right, cool. Let's do a little crazy. Let's get more than 1 variable going on in there. Up top, a squared. That's a 2. Yep. 2. B to the 7. C to the 4. And then on bottom, a to the 6th. B. C to the 4. Now, if that bothers you that there's no like multiplication dots in between, go for it. Put them in there if that helps kind of remind you what's going on. But if you're good without them, I'm good without them too. Now we've got more than 1 variable at a time. Stop trying to do it all at once and just go 1 at a time. Alphabetical order, easiest way to do it. And they already put it in alphabetical order, so that's not nice. And so in my mind, I'm like ignoring all that stuff. The B's and the C's in my mind don't even exist right now. It doesn't matter. I only worry about the A's. Then I'll worry about the B's. Then I'll worry about the C's. Okay? Top or bottom? How many? Cool. A to the fourth on the bottom. A's are done. B's top of bottom. Okay. How many more do you have if you have 7 up top and then just a lonely B on the bottom? Good. 6, not 7, right? Because this is a B to the first. And so if you ever see a variable that doesn't have an exponent and you think it's helpful to write that little one there, go for it. Absolutely. What about the C's? Where do you have more? If you've got C to the fourth on top and C to the fourth on bottom. But do you have more down there? Why? Anything divided by itself is 1. Perfect. And so the C's are actually gone. And I know this might be the first time that we've kind of seen this, but what happens when you've got the exact same thing top and bottom, anything divided by itself is 1, and those are just going to cancel out. So you might have an ABC to start. Doesn't mean you're going to necessarily have an ABC at the end. Because they have the same exponent, they cancel out. Nice. Good? Feeling all right? All right, challenge time.
Oh, God.
A, B squared, C to the third, D to the seventh, E to the fourth, F to the 10th, G to the seventh, over A to the third, B, C to the ninth, D to the seventh, E, F to the 13th, G to the ninth. Your turn. A's with A's, B's with B's, C's with C's. Take a second and write it down first. And
Not on the top, is it D to the 7th?
D to the 7th, yeah.
Okay.
Yep. A, B squared, C to the third, D to the 7th, E to the 4th, F to the 10th, G to the 7th. A to the third, B, B to the 9th, D to the 7th, E, F to the 13th, G to the 9th. Bang. Four. Another moment to finish up. It's still working. No rush. All right, everybody. Everybody's here. Good. Now it's almost never this great. 7 different variables. Yeah, that's crazy, right? But if you can do this one, then you can do everything else. So let's just go one by one. A's first, then B's and C's. And I want to have a different person tell me where the variable goes and what the exponent is supposed to be. So does anybody feel like they've got a good sense of where the A should go? Jerry, what do you think?
A on the bottom.
Okay, with the bottom. Hey, what about B's? Yeah,
B on top.
with an exponent of
Nothing.
Well, what is it? Even though we're not writing it?
One.
A 1, right? It's like an imaginary, invisible 1. Good, nice, right? Because 2 and 1, awesome. What about the C's? Yeah. Okay. Beautiful. What about the D's? Tyler. D's first, sorry. Yeah, right? Same thing, top and bottom. And you can cross them out like all at once like that, or you can kind of individually cross them out. That's cool. Okay, what about E's? Just some new blood. Okay, was that you? Good. Okay. Nice. 4 and 1, beautiful. How about F? Liam? Okay.
3 to the third time.
Good, thanks. And then G?
Bottom 2.
G squared on the bottom. Good. There it is. Done. You get it right? Now imagine 2 days ago, I gave you this problem. I said, go ahead, simplify it. You look at me like I was crazy. And you just did that. That's what you can do in just a couple days. That's amazing. So, big ups to you guys. I appreciate the work. You guys feel pretty good about fractions? All right, good. Let's go with the second half, though. And let's go with this negative, because I know we didn't really talk as much about that one. And I want to give us a chance to do a few together, try some on your own. And then we'll probably, what do we have here? So 2:05, right? So we got a little bit of time. We're doing all right. Can I erase this? Is that cool? Again, nothing you have to submit for me today, but having all this stuff written down is just going to help you like later this week or early next week or both. Once we start doing this stuff for real, right? When we start actually getting some bigger grades in there, we'll probably keep going with the style. I mean, if you guys like it, I'll keep it going. Like some stuff that's just for effort and completion. Try your best. I'll give you lots of points for that. Make sure you're feeling pretty good about it, and then do correctness. Is that working? Okay, let's do it. All right, so call this one number 5, I guess, because we did 1 through 4. But we're going to switch gears a little bit, and we're going to talk about the negatives. And we talked about this yesterday, and I just don't know how much everything sunk in. Let me move the camera just for a second. Right, we've got this. Oh, that was close. We've got this idea that like negative exponents come from this kind of situation, right? Where we had too many on bottom compared to on top. When we subtracted, we got this negative. That's no good. I don't want to end with a negative exponent. It doesn't make any sense. And this is kind of where we got to, where we're like, all right, well, that's what that really means, is 1 over x squared. And we came to this conclusion right here that said we've got a negative exponent somewhere. Maybe on top, maybe on bottom of some kind of fraction. It's our clue that something's in the wrong spot, that base is not supposed to be there. And we're going to make the switch. We're going to move it from the top to the bottom, or from the bottom to the top. And when we do that, now we can use the positive version of that exponent. Right? Start it on top, over 1, right? Move it to the bottom, make it positive. Start it on bottom, move it to the top, make it positive. And that's all there is to negative exponents. But you have to do the movement. Like you actually have to like move its location, top to bottom, bottom to top, before you can do anything else. And eventually what you're going to see by the end of today, yeah, we probably have time. By the end of today, we're going to have like some that have negative exponents and some that have positive ones. Only negative exponents move. Everything else is going to stay exactly where it is. We've got to practice first with just negative exponents. Let's see where it gets. So let's do this. X to the negative 1. Now, is that part of a fraction right now? See some yes. What is the fraction that you're kind of imagining? Over 1. And so if that helps, like they might give it to you like this, But if doing this gives you a better sense for where that x really is, like that's sitting on top, then you know that when you're about to make the switch, you know that that x that was on top, it's got a negative exponent. That's my clue that something's off here, and I got to make the move that I bring that x from the top down to the bottom. What's that exponent now that I've made the move? Positive 1. Perfect. Do I need to write the positive 1?
Yeah. No.
Could I?
Yeah.
Sure. If that helps, do it. Go for it. Seeing that change is never a bad thing. Now, what's left up top, though? We need something. What is that one? Because this one right here is right there. That doesn't move. That wasn't raised to a negative exponent, so that's not moving. What's this one? Where's that coming from? Okay. 1 times whatever, right? Any coefficient we don't bother writing is just a 1. So we need something left behind. Now, of course, I don't need this one, so I'm not going to write it. I don't need this one, so I'm not going to write it. That was positive exponents. Yeah, it's a fraction. It's not ideal, but it is what it is. 1x, 1 exponent. I'm good. Okay. All right, what about x to the negative 5th? Do we like the fact that it has a negative? I've got to make the switch. I've got to move some stuff around. Is that part of a fraction right now? Yes and no. Like, I'm not writing the fraction, but it's there. Again, so if you think that writing that is going to be helpful, now they're probably not going to give that to you. You'd have to add that in yourself, but maybe that'll help you say, all right, cool. Now I know what I need to move and what's going to stay. This one, those are both good. Those don't move. What happens to that x to the negative 5th? Goes to the bottom. And what do I do to it? Positive. Do I need this one sitting in front of that x to the 5th? No. Do I need this one that's up top? Yeah, right. That's by itself. I need that. I need something. So I leave it just like that. Okay. What if it starts on the bottom? 1 over a to the negative 3rd. Again, if this helps, dropping that little 1 in front, go for it. It's cool. Yeah.
I'm just guessing the A on the bottom.
The A has the negative exponent. Anytime I see negative exponents, that's my clue that that A, that where that base is, that's in the wrong spot. So if it starts on top like this, we move to the bottom. If it starts on bottom, no good. Let's move it up to the top. Now this one up here is good. That one down there is good. That's cool. But that A is going to slide up to the top. And once we make that move, now we can make it pop. Now, what about this one right here? Do I need that one? All right, cool. Let's get rid of that. But what about this one? Like a to the 3rd, I know it's kind of off the side. Let me center it up. A to the 3rd divided by 1. Does divided by 1 change anything? Now, if you need that step in between, I'm a big, big fan of this. Writing it like that first, in case you need it. Then saying, all right, I don't need the one, don't need the other one, I'm good. Let's just call it A. I'll say 9. All right, couple more together. Just to kind of highlight some of the things that can throw us off a little bit. All right. 2 over 3 times b to the negative 4. I put the times in there to help us out a little bit, but I don't really need it. I could have just put 3b to the negative 4. And the thing that you kind of want to start asking yourself as you deal with negative exponent is, okay, what's actually being raised to the negative and what's not? Because whatever's raised to the negative has got to move. Whatever is not is perfect exactly where it is, and I don't want to move. So what do you got, Kate?
So, after you flip it, you use the line to ring too.
If I could simplify some stuff, absolutely. If that's something that I want to do, if it was like 5/10, sure, I'll call it 1/2, yeah. Just like A's with A's, B's with C's, C's with E's, numbers with numbers, definitely. It's just not a property of exponent kind of thing, it's just the division, right? I would just divide. And so that's kind of up to you. Do I want to leave it as a fraction? Can I simplify it? Like, can I just simplify the fraction, make it nicer? Or do I want to use a decimal? I think that's up to you. As long as you're writing the right answer in simplest form, I'm good. Sure. And so that 2 that's up top, is that being raised to a negative exponent? The 2 that's just sitting there. No. So should it move? No. Okay, keep it. What about the 3 that's on bottom? Is that being raised to a negative exponent? No, so that's not going to move either. What about the b to the negative 4? That's got to move. Okay, so I'm going to bring that up top. Let me just center up a 3. Bring that up top. When I make that switch, now b is positive. B to the positive 4. Coefficient up top. Only one b, positive exponent, coefficient on bottom. Can you simplify 2/3? Doesn't that get any simpler? No, and that's like 0.666 or whatever, so I don't even want to write that. 2b to the 4th over 3. All right, one more with me. And then something for you. All right, let's step it up. Nothing too crazy though. Let's put these ideas together. X to the 3rd, y to the 4th, z to the negative 2nd power. That's on top. On bottom, x, y to the 7th, z to the 4th. Now, the thing that I am a big proponent for is to take care of your negative exponents first. And when I mean take care, I mean make the move, make the switch from top to bottom or bottom to top. Now to do that right, to feel like I got it all the way that I want, I still think it's helpful to go in alphabetical order. Say, all right, let me look at my x's, see what I got. Look at my y's, see what I got. Let me look at my z's, see what I got. A's, b's, whatever. If it doesn't have a negative exponent, don't change a thing. Leave it exactly where it is. Like, look at your x's. Are they good right now exactly where they are? X to the 3rd on top, x on bottom. Now, I could make progress, and you say, oh, I got 2 more up top. I'm not even going to do that yet. I'm going to leave it exactly as it is and only take care of the negative stuff. Now, maybe that's slower than you need to go, then good for you. That's awesome. That means you're really starting to click with this. But I think it's going to help kind of see what happens, right? My y's good? Right where they are? Do I have any negative exponents for y's? Then don't move. A negative exponent is my clue that something's got to move. Positive ones are good. Don't do a thing. I've made 0 progress so far. I get that. But look at what happens when you deal with your z's. Is this one good where it is? Drop it down, change the exponent, make it positive. But what about the z? Oh, yeah, go ahead, question.
I think you were going to get to it, but I was going to ask what happened to the 4.
That's a good question. Because, like, 2x's here, 2x's here, right? 2y's here, 2y's here. Okay, there's 2 z's here. So if all I'm doing is moving stuff around, I still want to think about that z to the 4th. It's on bottom right now. Is it supposed to be there if it's got a positive exponent? Yeah. So then leave it on the bottom. Again, I haven't made a ton of progress here, but I've made a very nice first step And I've taken care of all the negative exponents. Because now what I can do is put things together. X's with X's, Y's with Y's, and Z's with Z's, however they're connected. And so really in my mind, like, and more so than ever, like, I don't care at all about anything else. I only look at the X's and I see what I got. Oh, okay, it's part of a fraction. One on top, one on bottom, then I better ask myself these two questions. Where do I have more, and how many more? X to the third on top, X on bottom. Oh, okay, I got two X's on top. Sweet, sounds good. And my X's are done. What about your Y's, top or bottom? Because you have them in both spots, right? When you cover up everything else, it's still a fraction. All right, so I got 3 more Y's on bottom, so I better put them down. But when you cover up, when you only care about the Z's, do you have Z's on top and on bottom? No, they're just right next to each other. How are they connected? Well, what's in between them? So what's the shortcut for multiplication? What do we do with the exponents? And if they're on the bottom, it can't go anywhere. Z to the Z. Now, sure, you could have gotten there by saying, oh, I have negative 2 Z's on top and 4 on bottom, and how far apart is negative 2 from 4 on the number? Like, yeah, it's still 6. Now you have to deal with negatives. Make the switch, put them where they're supposed to, and then, oh, if it's part of a fraction, where do I have more, how many more? But if they're next to each other, just being multiplied, put them together, add their exponents, and keep them. Z's on the bottom, sweet, Z on the bottom. If these are on top, awesome, Z's on top. Cool? All right. We've got like 10 minutes. I want to give you a chance to try this, and then we'll call it. And what you're going to see with these next, let's do, I think that's 6 of them. Eventually what you're going to see is we've got like negative exponents kind of all over the place. And the thing you want to do is make the switch first. Move stuff around and then combine them together. Part of a fraction, cool. Where do I have more, how many more? If they're just next to each other, keep them up top or keep them on bottom, add those exponents. All right, here we go. Time for you. Give it a shot. So take care of the negative exponents. I should probably simplify what I'm talking about. And then simplify. Do whatever you got to do. One variable at a time. There we go. All right, here we go. So what was that 9, 10, 11, 12, 10, 8 to the negative 6, 11, 1 over b to the negative 2, 12, yes you may, 3x to the negative 4, 13. Yeah, I'd love for you to try these out yourself, and then we'll talk about the answers before you guys get out of here. Absolutely. Sure, go ahead. You're welcome. X squared y to the negative 3rd over x to the negative 5th y. One more. There we go. Into the 4th, b squared into the negative a. There you go. So a little less than 10 minutes, 6 problems. So about a minute per problem. Now I'll give some time to chat about them. Yeah.
I like the test. Would you ever put it where the like letters are mixed up and like A is on top of A?
They could do that. It's very unlikely though that would ever happen. That just seems mean. You know what I mean? Like this is hard enough on its own. But it does happen. It certainly can happen because and it's hard to like really think about applications of this that are realistic for us right now. without getting way, way, way too deep into where this stuff goes. But if you think about each of those variables representing something that you're keeping track of, whatever, look, there's 25 of us in this room right now. If I was keeping track of all 25 of your grades and I wanted to see how they compared, this might be a way that I would do it. I'd multiply all of your first semester grades together and all of your second semester grades together and then divide them to see how you guys compare. But if I did them from like least to greatest or greatest to least, it might not be in alphabetical order to do that. And so if I'm keeping track of things that way, then like the exponential fractions that we're dealing with might just not be in alphabetical order. And now that's like way beyond what we'll ever really do in here. Like tracking things with exponents is actually a really good comparison tool to see how things have changed. So realistically, yeah, it happens all the time. In Algebra 2, I don't think I would. No. I wouldn't do that. Maybe a bonus. How about that? But nothing that I would count against you. Even questions like the SAT, I don't think I've ever seen them jumble up the letters. I think they're pretty consistent. If they're going to have you simplify an exponential, whatever, expression, that's what these are, expressions. Usually they're pretty good about sticking with the same order. Yeah. Again, if this helps, go for it. I'm putting those ones in there. Absolutely. I don't know, maybe like 2 more minutes to see how much you can get done, and then I'll start putting some answers up. We'll deal with properties 5 and 6 tomorrow. I'm good. This was a good day. And again, you guys can talk this out with each other. You can talk it out with me. This just doesn't have to be on your own thing if you're stuck. It's a better way to learn. Besides. All right, getting close to the end here. Yeah, if it helps, I'm gonna kind of write the steps in between, and then I'll write the final answer. You might be able to just jump right to the final answer. That's cool. Verse 3. Why? 14 and 15, definitely the hardest ones on here because you got more than one negative exponent. So you're going to see I'm going to do it in 2 steps. Move everything that's got to move. Keep everything that's supposed to stay. And usually I'll go alphabetical order so that if I do end up putting things next to each other, they're in order. So I took care of my, like for 14, I'm gonna say, all right, I'm gonna deal with my x's first. That x squared up top is good. Leaving it. This x to the negative fifth on bottom is no good. Up it goes, positive exponent. If it bothers you, with the multiplication dot in between to remind you how things are connected. I don't know if we'll get there. We can get to these kind of fractions where they're connected by addition and subtraction, and that is totally different. Because I can't do x squared plus x to the third. They're just different. I can't combine them together. It's apples and oranges. Now I put them together. They're next to each other. X to the seventh. They're next to each other. Y to the no fraction, like no, where do I have more, how many more conversation, because they're just next to each other. And the same kind of thing happens with 15. A's first. A to the fourth up top is good. A on the bottom is good. I just leave it. I know I don't make any progress yet. B squared up top is good. B to the negative third on bottom is no good. Up it goes, becomes positive. Now look at the C's. Both negative. It means they both move. C squared on top, C to the fifth on the bottom. They're both going to switch spots and become positive. These are good because D to the first, D to the first. Now, A's with A's, B's with B's, C's with C's, and D's with D's. Fraction, 4 on top, 3 on bottom. These are next to each other. D to the third on bottom. These are gone. There you go. Have a good day, everybody. I will see you mañana. Be good. Thanks.